Mission Impossible is a series with many entries, reboots, and movies. It started way back in 1966 and had 5 seasons. It was later revived in 1988 for 2 more seasons, and this is what the awesome Tom Cruise movies are based off. As for the NES game, the 1988 series is the influence here. Aptly named Mission Impossible, released in 1991 on the Nintendo Entertainment System by Konami. Now, will this game be impossible? Probably. It's Konami. Now, let's pop it in within 5 seconds, or this cart might self-destruct. Dr. O, the clone plan genius, has been kidnapped by the Sinister Seven. Also swiped was his computerized military defense system, which the evil thugs have reprogrammed to destroy the world. Now, everything depends on your crack Mission Impossible team to perform a secret surgical strike and rescue. Your special operatives here are Max Harte, Grant Collier, and Nicholas Black. I think I said those right. As always, if any of you are caught, we will disavow any knowledge of your actions. This cart will self-destruct in 5 seconds. Mission Impossible is an eclectic mix of uncommon features. For starters, the game is played from a top-down perspective. It's also a stealth kind of action game. It's sort of a mix of Metal Gear Solid with light puzzle elements. You walk around getting clues from civilians and need to find switches and use codes to get past doors and to find your way around. Now, by the way, if you attack one of these civilians, you will be sent straight to prison and you will lose one of your characters. Now, as mentioned, you actually get to control 3 operatives, and they all come straight from the TV show. Max, Grant, and Nicholas, all of whom have different skills necessary for the completion of the mission. You can switch agents at any time by pressing start and selecting them. Max has the best range out of the 3, plus he can use remote control bombs. Press B to place a bomb, and B again to detonate. Although he is the fastest, Grant Collier's punch has by far the worst range, but he does have sleeping gas grenades, which come in handy when trying to get through an area with a lot of enemies. And finally, we have Nicholas Black, who is an Australian that uses boomerangs. He's an all-rounder, and his special weapon is that he can use disguises. I suppose they work similar to Solid Snake's cardboard box, although the disguises will run out after a limited time, so enemies can't see you. As for looks and sounds, it certainly has a unique look to it, with a GTA top-down view. Backgrounds are also really quite detailed, and again, this is a Konami game, so they're going to make an effort. On music, it's also really good. Now, once again, I must mention the opening title that has been 8-bitified. Check it out. So like I mentioned before, the flat top-down view reminds me so much of Grand Theft Auto 2. I played it on PC originally, but it was also released on PS1. And the one thing I'll never forget from that game was running over all the Elvis impersonators in a line. That was so messed up. The other game, which I've mentioned a few times, is Metal Gear Solid. And once again, this is a game by Konami, so there's definitely some DNA of that series here. On the series itself, I never watched it growing up, but I did watch Get Smart and Inspector Gadget. By the way, did you know that the lead in Get Smart, Agent 86, was actually the voice of Inspector Gadget 2?
Would you believe it? 100 cops with Doberman pinchers.
New museum opening tomorrow on Greek island of Thermos.
One thing I'll always remember from that show is whenever he's getting his orders, right at the end, If it was a video, or a letter, or a phone call, it would say,
This message will self-destruct.
obviously, taking reference from Mission Impossible. So on pricing, you're looking at about $25 for a cart, and complete on average is probably $50. Now, I consider this one a bit underrated, to be honest. So, that was Mission Impossible. Honestly, it's a really good game. It's fairly underrated, I gotta say. It's got deep and varied gameplay, like with the character swapping and the light puzzle elements in it. It's really good. It's definitely one of those ones where you want to take your time, maybe even write it down, figure out where to go and what to do next, that sort of thing. I can definitely see myself playing this in my off time. So, yeah. No. With that, this one will be going onto the shelf within 5 seconds, or this cart will self-destruct. Now, in retrospect, there are no bad games, but there are bad ideas. See ya. Whew.